Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Asher Marketing Podcast. I'm Anthony Giuliano, and my guest this week is Dave Graney. Dave, how you doing?
Good, real good, Anthony. Good to see you.
Good to see you, too. You have me beat because you went for a run today, and I did not. I was really thrilled to hear that you ran inside. I used to be, I don't know if you were this way ever, but I used to be diehard. I'm going to run outside at least a few times a week, even in the winter, regardless of the weather. Was that you ever or still?
It was. I'm a recovering marathoner.
Yeah, me too.
So I saw somebody actually wearing those. I've never invested in those knee socks.
Yeah.
But I'm careful.
Yeah. It's not the best.
Not a big fan of cold.
No, neither am I. And the older I get, the more I realize if I fall down, I might never get up. So ice is not my friend these days. Well, thanks for being here. I really appreciate it. Want to talk with you about your career path, the world of real estate, some of the things you're working on, and get a sense of your perspective on marketing real estate in a really hot market that seems to be hot and getting hotter, and you think it can't come down, but it keeps going up.
Right before I left the office, I felt, what if somebody would ask me what I do, I would say it's a combination between an air traffic controller and just taking reservations for the flights.
Yeah.
That's how.
Yeah.
It's been really something.
Yeah. So is this? Let's go back to. In your case, the very beginning of your career, you went to IU, correct?
Correct.
And you served in the military for some time?
Before IU, correct.
Before IU, okay. When was it that you started thinking real estate is something I would like to do professionally? Was that something you always knew, or did it come up later?
Came up later. It never really was. I was one of those guys that had senioritis in 8th grade. So three of my buddies from high school, we decided to join the Army. Mm-hmm. I followed them. We ended up 3 years and done. We all left. 3 of the 4 actually went down to Bloomington.
Okay.
That was kind of the plan.
Yeah.
To go to IU after the military. We were kind of the last ones in that old GI Bill where they helped fund some of that. And I was the last one in, so I only got maybe a $2-for-$1 match.
Sure.
And then, the military served its purpose, created discipline. Then we all went down to IU and became 21-year-olds.
And lost all the discipline.
Seniors.
Yeah.
and lost every bit of it.
Yeah. So what did you study at IU?
Actually, I had a vision to be an athletic trainer.
Okay.
I grew up a sports guy, loved baseball, liked sports. It was my thing. It felt like it empowered me. Mm-hmm. I took anatomy, I think, four or 5 times.
Yeah.
Could not get through those medical classes in athletic training. And it's a real, quite a tough road.
Yeah, I'd still be trying to get through those classes if I had ever taken them, but I had the good luck to never go down that path. So you finish at IU. Do you go immediately into real estate, or are there any stops along the way?
I kind of hobbled around IU. I didn't finish in the sense of a degree. I got about halfway there.
Okay.
I met a girl, and that was kind of where towards the end of my fumbling around campus, and kind of right about that same time, just decided out of a whim to take a real estate licensing class. Okay. Shady Shrek was her name. I remember the instructor. Took that. It was time to come back home and get my stuff together.
So obviously a very different world, real estate at that time. What was it like getting started in that profession? How'd you get your feet under you? How'd you get established? And what were you doing to market yourself back when you began your career?
Well, back then, before the internet, there was a lot of print medium. Mm-hmm. Experienced agents were the ones who were willing to guide and mentor at that time. Would maybe let you use your name in some of their marketing to help you build a following. real estate agents are independent contractors. We own our own businesses. A lot of people don't realize that. We do manage a lot of, we hire admin to do certain things. We do build a business that way. So
when you were trying to establish yourself, and I'll use the example of you are on the Keller Williams team. If it's an independent business, how does it work that you're working with that name, that brand? How does that all work together? Even though you're an independent business, you're associated with Keller Williams.
Well, I've been associated with other companies prior to this, but I think a lot of the purpose you hang your hat somewhere is basically because of the culture or the culture that you hope is going to be there.
Okay.
And in my case, I've had wonderful mentors. I'm curious by nature, so I don't have a problem in asking the next question. That's benefited me well. But under one organization, I guess I'm at the point in my career right now where I've built the relationships, I've built the friendships, I've built the partnerships, working with that next generation and it's a wonderful time of life to be in that point where you are answering the questions that are now asked of you.
Yeah, for sure. So how would you describe Keller Williams? What is it like culturally? What makes Keller Williams different? What makes you happy to be there and fit in and all those good things? Again, I have that building mindset. So I wanted to be a part of that from the beginning. It's an international franchise, but it's new to Northeast Indiana the last 5 years. And I wanted to build that and help that grow. We're now, I think, up to like 170 licensees in Northeast Indiana, Fort Wayne, South Bend, Kosciuszko County, Allen County. So let's talk about the real estate market, because I was just talking to a friend. I grew up in Massachusetts, as you know, and I was talking to a friend of mine yesterday, and I said, I think it's the first time I've said it out loud, but I said the cost of living here used to be really great because it's changed. It's still great, but it's dramatically different than it was even a few years ago. How is that affecting your work, and how have things evolved? Because you've seen a great disparity in this market over the course of your career. What does that look like from your perspective, and what do you see coming next to the extent you can predict it?
Well, I don't know about in terms of any predictions, but and for me to 4 children and to see them grow up here and live here now, it's wonderful to be in that kind of a upbeat, inflationary, upbeat culture. I've got one daughter who's new to West Central, living downtown, and it's nice to see that. But on the other hand, it's just a real challenge. The biggest challenge for us is inventory. If you don't have anything on the shelf, and once you do have it on the shelf, it's not on the shelf. Yeah. It's off the shelf.
Sure.
So there's not that time to leverage that we used to have.
Yeah.
And again, it's fleeting like any other time and space. It's fleeting. But we had a property the other day, that $150,000 to $200,000 is kind of the sweet spot for a first-time home buyer now. And we had a property that, it had 29 offers on it in a 3-day period. And it's like, how many property owners want to be presented 29 offers?
Yeah.
So, people look at us as hopefully the guide to accepting the best of those offers. And again, it's not always price, it's possession, it's terms, ease of the transaction.
Sure. So why is this is where I'm going to reveal my ignorance for the first of what will be many times. But why is it that the Fort Wayne real estate market is so hot? Is it that things caught up to where they always should have been? Is it population growth? Is it a function of people getting more interested in real estate ownership? What's driving the market as it's been the last few years?
An outstanding question. Just a combination, I think, of maybe a lot of young people who back in maybe 2008, 2009, maybe saw some of their families lose their homes, and a lot of time has gone by since then.
Yeah.
Hence, wanting to take ownership. Maybe a lot of it has been the Midwest conservative culture where we really didn't maybe build as many new homes as we, again, we've always had that most, quote, most affordable.
Yeah, sure.
And we've tried to sell that for so long, and that's you can't sell that now.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I mean, the reason I asked the question is I ask myself, and from time to time, where did all the people come from? Because it was a very reasonable market, and then all of a sudden you can't find a house and you can't find an apartment, and they're putting up apartments and they're filling immediately. And it's not like there's a giant population increase. So I'm just kind of trying to sort it out, and it's probably a combination of factors more than anything.
I've seen people from both coasts, East and West Coast, come here and invest good money.
Yeah.
And when I say good money, I mean a lot of money in some of the older properties downtown. I think more than ever, we have that's probably the best way to answer this. We have a lot more choices. We have a high-rise condo downtown.
Yep.
We have historic downtown.
Yeah.
And I grew up in the city over by the zoo, so I'm not, I grew up here, so I've seen prices go up. I've seen, all these big houses go up. But I think the perfect storm would be we're fitting more needs from a demographic age perspective.
Yeah. Okay. So how are you mentioned the inventory issue, and it's a very competitive market. You mentioned even on your team, so to speak, there's 170 real estate professionals. How do you differentiate yourself in 2022? How do you market yourself today? Obviously, you benefit from having built a reputation and having built relationships. But what are some of the things that you're trying to do to stay in front of clients and prospects?
Well, this is a true story. I had no idea that Google had a meeting, Google meeting. I had no idea until this morning.
Yeah.
And so that's one way to be in front of the people. Again, that is what it is. Some people are comfortable with that. Some people aren't.
Sure.
I've tried to come from contribution, and that's a large part of our culture is coming from contribution, not taking. So having that, what can I do to add value to whatever's going on with you right now? What do you want? What do you need? And I love going to events. I have probably, the first Fridays, I think you're familiar with those a while back, and they're just other things, kind of gotten away from them. So you really almost have to just create your own events.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
Is there anything that you're in line with that? Is there anything you have on the horizon, anything you're looking forward to in terms of events, marketing opportunities, anything that's coming up that's important to you?
Well, thank you. I am going to take an idea from one of my colleagues down in Indianapolis, and we're just going to do a appreciation event at a drive-in movie theater this summer.
Okay.
So I thought was a wonderful idea.
So this is invite clients you've worked with in the past to
clients, vendors, maybe friends of their family, and just really try to help build awareness and again, just more relationships.
Yeah, for sure. All right, well, let's pivot to the speed round of the show, and this is when we talk about some of the things we've perhaps already talked about, but in a slightly different way. Talk to me about career success. You've built a long career in real estate. You've been through up markets, down markets, and markets in between. What have you learned along the way that you think is worth sharing? What are some of your best tips for building a successful and fulfilling career?
Well, again, I guess you have to be a very good listener, and a lot of people have come before us, and a lot of people have been successful for us. I think there's really only so many objections you need to answer and master with people. Building accountability to me is huge. I know you've got great board experience. I've sat on a few boards before, and helping out those organizations that are close to your heart. Accountability, though, is huge. Almost, and I think you have to be choosy. You have to seek out somebody with maybe the same core values, and just make no difference than having an accountability partner at the gym, or just do some script, some role playing, all those things to help you not come off as salesy, for lack of a better word.
Yeah. So let me ask you a difficult question. If somebody asked you, "Hey, I'm considering a career in real estate in 2022," would you say, "Go for it, best career ever," or would you encourage them to proceed with caution? And if so, either answer, why?
Well, again, it depends. As a business person, it's all about risk management.
Yeah, sure.
And finances, and pressing the, you're not going to go through that stoplight till it turns green. You shouldn't spend money. It's the red light, green light, where you really have to manage things. I'd say every year has. I'm really excited about the people that are getting in the business right now. They're doing all kinds of things. We had two different teams today. They were doing all kinds of. Again, we know how much social media has exploded, but they were both doing some fun, candid entertainment videos, and to me that was fun to see.
Yeah,
I think at the end of the day, I just know I encourage to them that they will build relationships eye to eye, one at a time.
Yeah, it's what I encourage people to think about, is that social media should be a tool for building real world relationships, not a substitute for real world relationships. A means to an end, not an end unto itself. But that might be just because I'm old, but I think there's some truth in it too.
It takes some energy. I'm watching them, do this stuff, and I'm thinking, I kind of follow. Rest in peace, Betty White. But Betty White, we know what she had to say about social media.
Yeah,
she said it was a terrible waste of time.
Yeah, and it can be for sure, but it's all in how you use it, I guess. So, tell me a little bit about your organization. What I usually ask people is if there's something you want people to know about your organization, or maybe a myth you want to dispel about your organization, and you can talk about Keller Williams, you can talk about that however you want to frame it, but what's something you want people to know that maybe is underappreciated?
Underappreciated is, we're really, at the end of the day, we're trying to help people build wealth through real estate. Mm-hmm. And that's maybe their first house, their last house, an investment property, a piece of ground to build their dream home on. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. And that's what I think most successful businesses, it's really a short path if you make it a short path. You can buy the next shiny toys and technology. You really have to just focus on the end user and what is going to bring you word of mouth business down the road.
Yep. Yeah. All right. Well, one more, and this is a little bit of a wild card, but tell me, is there in your work, is there anything you use that's a tool, a trick, a tip? It could be a technology tool, it could be something completely different, And I usually ask people from a marketing perspective, but feel free to take it more broadly than that. What's something that makes your life easier that you think people should know about?
A hack, in other words, right?
Yeah. That's probably a more concise way to say it.
Gosh, I don't know. Boy, what other marketers should know about?
Yeah, or
Basically,
something that you use every day that makes your life easier. There's
Well, I'm very visual.
yeah,
So, and I'm very duplicative. Is that a word? I don't know. Duplicate. I mean, I take notes. I take a lot of notes.
Yeah.
I don't use them all, but the secret is there's no secret.
Yeah.
Everybody's got a different rhythm.
sure.
And it's a tough question.
Yeah.
It's a wild card question.
Well, it's a question I ask because I'm hoping to steal good ideas from my guests. So
Well, I think you've had a great run, Anthony. I've followed your career really closely, and I think you know a lot of the answers.
well, thanks. I every day I'm reminded that I don't, but some days I get lucky, so I appreciate that. Well, Dave, anything else you're working on that you want to share?
Probably going to start at that age where I think I'm going to slow down and maybe work on my pickleball game, Anthony. that my kids are starting to play, and I'll be able to spend
I've
some
heard
time
great
in
things
them.
about pickleball. I might want to try that out sometime if you're ever looking to.
Yeah, that'd be wonderful.
What do you say when you play pickleball? Is it to
I-
pickle to
I'm right there with you.
hit the court? I don't even know.
I have no idea.
I know nothing about it.
It looks fairly low aerobic, which I'm looking forward to.
Yeah.
But somewhat powerful. The first time I ever saw it being played, I thought, this is like putting money in a pinball machine and watching it, but not being able to play it.
Yeah. Well, good luck working on your pickleball game.
And again, with the advent of what you've done with this medium, with the Ather Agency, I have proposed that to the group to possibly help our brand awareness a little bit with a consistent, value-added podcast.
Yeah. Well, we started it, and a lot of the thanks goes to Nick, who people can't see, but Nick is, as in most rooms that I'm in, I am not the brains of the operation. Nick does all the hard work. I just show up and talk. But yeah, I mean, it's something that Asher started over a year ago just to keep us top of mind with clients and prospects and build relationships and learn from people. And it's been super fun. So I encourage you to do it. Yeah.
Again, back to a tool in the arsenal would just be, I can't say enough about creativity.
Mm-hmm.
Once you start to lose that, I think you've lost an edge. And just, with some of the things again that you have done, I know you have really focused on creativity.
Well, thanks. What's the old saying that necessity is
Yes.
Is it necessity is the mother of invention? Yeah.
I always try to come up with these old sayings. I think, I don't think I'm going to remember the whole saying, so I won't try to remember it.
Yeah. I think I failed at that one. I started to say it correctly, and then I tripped over myself. But, well, Dave, it's been a pleasure hearing from you and learning more about you. Thanks for joining us. I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely, Anthony.
And thanks to everyone who took the opportunity to listen to this week's episode. We'll be back next week with another great guest, and we hope you'll join us then.